Here's a Type 44 European headlight. This is a complete bucket, what it looks like when it's put together. This is not a turn signal like the American amber turn signal. This is just a reflective, just a reflector. You can see the bucket is a lot larger than the standard American 10 or 20 valve Type 44. On the back, you've got two covers to be able to access the lights, to be able to change them out when they go bad. Here you have a manual adjuster. You just turn it left and right. You can clock it over left and right to adjust the spread from left and right, looking out into the field. This is a motorized adjuster for your headlight for up and down on your height. You also are able to manually turn the knob if the motor ever goes bad. I'm assuming that's why they did that, which is a nice feature. But it's quite a bit heavier. You've got a body filler right here. It's a rubber piece here that's pretty hard to come by nowadays. They're pretty rare to find one intact. And here's all the pieces that it takes to put one of these lights together. So there's a lot of pieces, a lot of engineering involved in European headlight buckets, not just a piece of glass and a socket for a bulb. All you have is a glass lens for the front, which is a pretty heavy, thick piece here. You've got the gasket for the lens. You've got the covers for the high beam and then the low and driving and city light. These are two separate reflectors. You've got a smaller one and then the larger one. You've also got a socket for the city light. It's a smaller light that goes in there. You have this guard so that you don't have direct light shining at someone's face with a brighter light, which I won't need anymore because I'm going to put a bi-xenon projector mounted inside there. So here's one that had the 100 watt lamp. It's incandescent. I've turned that into an HID with a ballast. And here are the clips for the lens. This is an outside, I call it a beauty trim, but this is to take up the gap for when the motor moves this bucket up and down, and when you adjust it left and right, so it kind of fits in there like that. Looks pretty decent. Not bad for 20-something years old. And you've got the over-engineered headlight bucket, I guess the general bucket itself that houses everything. So this piece is able to adjust up and down, left and right. You've got a cable-driven deal in here that comes to a gear set in here that drives a shaft in and out to make the lens go left and right, and then the motor drives the this adjuster up and down, and you've got your access for the high beam in there, and this part is actually pretty light. Then you've got the steel pieces here that attach to the bucket, and then these hold it to the core support of the car. So you have an upper and you've got a lower. And then you've got the outer stainless trim piece with the reflector, which I've heard you can put the amber turn signal back in, or the running light back in. I haven't tried that just yet. And here's a new reflector compared to the old one. You can get these at CAC, Custom Autocraft, online. And one thing that was asked was what's different about them. Well, one is you can access inside these headlights to do what you want. You can put the bi-xenon projector, you can do the HIDs. They look a lot better with the all the chrome reflective work inside. And Also too, you have the motorized adjusters if you want to play around with it. But if you look at this motor here, I don't think these are available anymore. So I took this apart to see what was wrong with it. And what it has is 3 terminals here on the cap. So when you pull the cap off, you have the spade terminals on the circuit board. Well, what I found was these were loose, so I crimped these a little bit tighter and made the connection, applied the voltage, and it started working. This is a pretty complicated little deal with all these little gears and the motor and the circuit board, but this still works. So something important to know is you have on the 3 terminals, you've got one, you need a ground on this one side here, and then on your positive side, to change polarity to drive the shaft in and out, you see how you can touch this terminal, nothing happens. You can touch that terminal, nothing happens. But if you touch both terminals at the same time, that drives the shaft out, which makes your headlights adjust up. Now it has its own protection and it stops even with the voltage applied. But if you touch this terminal here, nothing happens. You've got to go to the single terminal on the outside to bring the shaft back in, which adjusts your headlights down. So it's pretty simple. Just has a DC motor. It looks like one you could just get from Radio Shack. If it ever goes bad, you take the 4 screws off to pull the board off. It's got some gears in here. Looks like some non-conductive dielectric grease, so it doesn't leak out or the gears don't throw it out onto the board and short anything out. I've found 1 or 2 of these on eBay in Germany, but instead of just buying a new one, just see what's wrong with the old one. So that was one deal, is to be able to adjust them with a thumb wheel inside the dash, in the cab, instead of getting out under the hood. Like if you have 4 people sitting in the car and the car squats, you can adjust the headlights with a thumb wheel from the dash inside the car, or if you're pulling a trailer with it, or whatever the case may be. But that's a Type 44 European headlight bucket.